this is Tamara. I want to talk to you about getting a definite purpose. This is inspired by the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So I want to share a quick story that was in there about this. So psychologists have been said to say when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. So there was a gentleman by the name of Barnes, and it says what a different story people would have to tell if they wouldn't only adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming obsession. So one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. So every person is guilty of this mistake one time or another. So R.U. Darby, who became one of the most successful insurance salesmen in the country, tells the story of his uncle who was caught by the gold fever in the gold rush days. And he went west to dig and to grow rich. So he had never heard the saying that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. So he staked a claim and he went and worked with a pick and a shovel. And so after weeks of labor, he was rewarded with a shiny ore. He needed much machinery to bring the ore to the surface. So quietly, he covered up the mine, and then he traced the steps back home in Williamsburg, Maryland. And he told his relatives, and a few friends about the strike. And they got together, money to get the machinery that was needed, and had it shipped out there. And so Darby and his uncle went back to work the mine, and the cart of ore was melted down, and it proved that they had, one of the richest mines in Colorado. And so they needed a few more cars to, clear up their debt, for the machinery. And then they would, come to this killing of profits. But something happened. The vein of ore, it disappeared. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. And so they drilled on desperately trying to, pick back up, the ore vein. And all to no avail, finally they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. Well, some junk men are dumb, but this one surely was not dumb. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating for him. Then the engineer, had advised him that the project had failed because the owner, they weren't familiar with, fault lines. And so this calculation showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. 3 feet. That is exactly where it was found. The junk man took millions of dollars in ore from the mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. So that was a life lesson for Darby. He later remembered he lost a fortune because of giving up 3 feet from gold. So he profited in his chosen work, which became insurance. So his simple method was to say to himself, I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy insurance. And so he owes his stick ability to the lesson he learned from his quit ability, in the gold mining business. Before success comes to most people, they are sure to meet much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. So when faced with defeat, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. This is exactly what the majority of people do. More than 500 of the most successful people America has ever known told Napoleon Hill their greatest successes came just one step beyond the point of which defeat had overtaken them. And so I want you guys to adopt a definite purpose and don't stop 3 feet from gold. Just think of this story anytime you think of, you wanting to quit. So if you'd like to learn more about, having a definite purpose and turning your passions into profits, I want you to go to www.makemoneywithtam.com, put in your email address, and watch the video. You too can turn your passions into profits. Click the link below, subscribe to my YouTube page. Let's connect on Facebook. I am Tamara Glover Slayton, and I'll see you guys on the next post.